let's look at, we've been tossing around this unknown quotable quote that every thought is a prayer, every word is a spell. Think about why they're called curse words. Okay? When you use profanity. Now, there's a recent study out that's saying that when you're in pain, cursing actually helps alleviate pain. And that's, intention is everything.
Right.
And certainly I can say to one of my friends, you bitch. You effing bitch. I never said that to you. But not yet at least. But
we might get there, folks.
Probably not today. I'm too tired. But that sort of thing, the intention is obviously one of colloquial, friendship.
Right.
But when you're driving in the car and someone cuts you off and you curse them. That energy leaves your field, goes into theirs, and you're connected by not a golden thread, if you like, a leaded thread. And that energy will return to you multiplied. Just is what it is. So, intention is the difference between a curse, a hex, and a binding. Now, a hex...
And probably the emotion behind it.
Oh, well, the emotion is the engine that moves it forward.
Yes.
Really, well, and the
as you would have said.
Well, if you always have a caboose and an engine, and it's about getting those things in the right order in your mind that really can make the difference between a spell working or not, or how it returns to you. Intention is everything, and at the same time, I have to say I have hexed a few people, but we're talking about murderers, stalkers, rapists, con men. There are ways to do it that keep you in your ethics, but you have to understand if it comes back, it comes back. Sometimes it's worth it. I haven't done that kind of magic in a really long time, particularly because I've kind of evolved to a place of my own growth where I realize that, well, you can bind, you can banish, you can hex, you can curse. It seems to be very self-perpetuating. That even when you're good at it, as soon as you do one, the next situation pops up, you got to do it again. You deal with that one, the next one pops up. It was like issues like tissues. Pull one out, there's another one underneath it. Once I started really practicing true forgiveness, it's not that process stopped, but I got better at forgiveness rather than better at hexing. And given the choice, I'd rather be better at forgiveness.
So it was more of a test for you, the fact that the issues kept coming up.
But that's life.
And the lesson.
That's life. And that's the thing. Is this a problem or is it a lesson? And if it's a problem, you will get problem after problem after problem after problem. If it's a lesson, you'll get lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson. The difference is, well, first of all, less dead bodies, hopefully, with lessons. Less psychic scar tissue if they're lessons. And what you get out of lessons is learning and healing and growth and evolution and forward motion and more freedom. So, I'm okay with binding. I haven't done it in a while because I haven't had the need to, but I know how to. And I would rather do a sugar binding than, there's a binding you can do where you take two compact mirrors and you put the person symbolically in between the two of them, wrap them in black tape and bury them. It's a bit severe.
Makes me feel suffocated.
Yeah, well, and that's a very suffocating binding. Only had to do that once or twice. And that was a very long time ago, and that was during a witch war, where really all I was trying to do was take this person's negativity and bounce it back at them 9 times. Well, it worked. And the person left my life and destroyed everything they tried to create negatively in my life. But even now, so many years later, I find myself in meditation, sending forgiveness and looking at the mirror and where have I been that destructive and where have those thoughts and things that person said pushed buttons within me and what are those buttons. So it's like we said in one of the other podcasts that there is a glass ceiling in the craft. That, how long do you want to be binding and banishing and hexing? At some point you have to ask, why am I attracting all this?
Right.
And that's where that deeper process came in for me, and it may not be for everybody, but it certainly works for me.
But they also say, too, from what I understand, is what you do also allows you also to be bound.
Oh, yeah.
Or hexed or cursed.
Yeah.
By putting that out there.
But if people realized how often they curse people, even without words, with thoughts, where they intentionally send negative energy, even without really understanding they're intentionally sending it. You know, when people flip the bird, give the middle finger, which I won't do on film. But it's between these two.
In the Eastern medicine, it's the pericardium, it's the heart protector.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Well, in palmistry, it's the Saturn finger. It's ruled by Saturn, and what's Saturn? Saturn is the planet of karma, and return, and limitations. It is the binding planet. So that's just, as I'm holding on to it, so I don't, girl, do it, shall see lately. Yeah, that's a curse. That is a curse. And just because it's not done with this finger doesn't mean it's not.
I think that it's slightly off topic, but I think that one of the origins of that was the archers. Because what happened was if the opposite archer, the opposing team, the enemy, if you will, they would cut off the middle finger so they couldn't draw the bow. So if they gave them the middle finger,
yeah, they're like,
say,
I can shoot
I can
you.
still shoot you. So.
Mind you, I was brought up flipping the bird, so, you know, I'm from Long Island. New Yorkers love that. That's our favorite form of sign language.
So do we wrap that up for George?
I think that kind of answers the question, as well as someone else kind of threw in the hex part of that question, because they are dealing with a situation where they really felt justified that this person needed to be stopped.
So a hex and a curse is the same.
I don't see that much of a difference. Maybe there is a difference culturally, but I don't see that there's that much of a difference in intention. You hex someone and you curse someone. Well, and then again, do you hex somebody when you tell them, go take a long walk off a short pier? Is that a hex? No.
Maybe they need a shower.
But I hope then it's a suggestion, a hygiene suggestion. But I think really it's the emotion behind it that is the engine of that. And you have to really go down and say, what is this person teaching me? Maybe before, maybe after you do whatever magical application you like. But eventually, get around and ask, why am I attracting this stuff?
Thanks, George.
Thank you.